No, I'm introing us this week.
You're
You always
introing
intro
us
us.
this. You can't intro us. You're not
What?
prepared. You
I
haven't
am so
practiced.
prepared. I know the drill. I practiced 50 times in the mirror to this morning.
This is the intro, by the way. Welcome to week
This is
8.
the intro.
This is it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the our podcast. I forgot its name.
All right.
uh,
Let's get this shit
anyways,
show on the way.
yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
welcome back to
go to the
week 8.
go to the description. Figure out
Yeah.
what you want. I don't deal.
Welcome to week 8 of the NFL season. Kicking it off with franchise tag podcast right before Thursday night football, as we do every single week. Last week was real fucky. Just gonna get that out the way right away.
Yeah, we're actually shams, and
We have no
we are.
idea what's going on in the NFL.
Yeah,
Like
we're
the
AI generated, but not real, and that's why our uniforms always match.
so that with that being said, right? I went 5-8 last week in the pick'ems. My first week under 500, which sucked, but tied for my most incorrect guesses in a week. So I've done the 8 incorrect guesses before. I just didn't have the
Hmm.
extra correct guesses to fall back on.
Yeah.
But
Um.
everything just shit hit the fan this week, man. Nothing went according to plan. The Steelers got bailed. The
Failed.
Bears looked competent. The Dolphins looked incompetent, and the Vikings,
Looked competent.
no, no, they didn't.
Their defense looked competent. Come on,
Impossible.
give them that.
Impossible. Yeah, Vikings beat the 49ers. I was a little shocked to see that. But my lock hit, Seahawks over Cardinals. Shocker, shocker.
Yeah. Mine didn't. Raiders did not win against the Bears. Granted, I didn't know I was gonna have to be dealing with Brian Hoyer and his curse, but his cursed streak of what is he now 0-12 with the longest losing streak by a quarterback? It's pretty rough.
Probably. He's a good mind
Longest
to have.
active uh, quarterback losing streak.
He's a good mind to have in the locker room and in the team, but as far as being a player goes, I think those days can be written off as over.
Yeah, I thought I was kind of picking between Badgett and Aiden O'Connor, a nice rookie off, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be good. No, it wasn't.
The Browns got bailed. Shocking that they had to be bailed against the Gardner Minshew led Colts, them and their top defense. And
Yeah, after didn't they score twice? No, they had two forced fumbles and they had a score on defense, and they were
yep,
like, "Yeah, we actually still need refs' help, please."
yeah, Deshaun threw 2 picks and then was hurt, so he came out, and then PJ Walker went back in, and oh Lord, he's done it again. PJ Walker is
He's
undefeated this
PJ
season.
walked all over it. Yeah,
The Patriots won. What the fuck? What the fuck happened? When the Patriots win, we know shit's weird. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yes, we haven't mentioned this. So my record for the pick'ems this week was 6-7,
Mhm.
and my original predictions this week were 6-7, the ones we did in the preseason, and yours were 10-3.
yeah,
You don't miss, I guess. Uh, your
yeah.
your your preseason record's the best out of any record of ours. It's not a great look,
Yeah.
but it's a look we
Well,
have, don't we?
yeah, it's a look we have, and the if you ask me for the reasoning for these victories in the preseason, having the Vikings over
Mhm.
the 49ers would have been like, well, Justin Jefferson has a master class, you see. And unfortunately, Justin Jefferson was sitting on the bench in a cast and probably watching from the rehab facility, actually. I didn't watch the
He
game. I
was
don't know what
there.
Justin Jefferson's doing.
He went ahead and he put a top 10 chain, a chain that said top 10 over Kirk during the post game interview.
Yeah, and then the
So
Eagles actually showed up finally, which was nice to see. Before this game, I I think I had said this a couple times that they just looked slow. Like they
mhm.
looked like they hadn't quite gotten to form. And maybe Julio Jones coming back, or yeah, coming back to the
Coming
league.
back. What?
Coming back to the league. He was a free agent. He's re-entering the league. Maybe Julio Jones going to the Eagles just like slapped somebody, and they were like, "Whoa, we're the Eagles. All right, it's time to win." And I think that's exactly what happened. Julio, tell me if that's what happened, because I think it is.
I think Julio with his one catch and 3 yards doesn't know what to say yet, but that's just unnecessarily shitting on the great. So I won't bring up his yardage. Don't need to do that.
He's there to be a leader, and he's
Um,
doing a great job of it. So
yeah,
that's what I'll say. I don't think he was brought in to be a super big
yeah, I
impact in
don't
the
think so.
passing game.
Yeah, they're like, oh, Devontae and AJ, we need a better second guy. Like, no, he's kind of just there. See that little change? Hey, you want to catch your breath, AJ? Here, send in Julio.
To kind of move off of the last week's happenings, but also keep going with last week's happenings. On Thursday night, we saw a couple weird special teams plays. It was like two. It wasn't back to back plays, obviously, but it was back to back drives of just odd special teams plays. And I had never really like looked in depth at the kick catch interference rules, but oh boy did I Thursday night to find out if you could push a guy into the returner, and turns out you can. As long as that guy isn't like picked up and thrown, you can do that. So that's news to me. I think that's a dumb rule, regardless of whether or not it is a rule. And Elijah over here and I had a pretty heated discussion in our group chat about that with nobody else responding. It was just us going at it in the group chat. Another thing from Thursday night that, or yeah, right, Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, Foster Moreau had a rough drop in the back of the end zone, and as soon as that happened, I was like, "Homeboy's gonna get death threats," and so we just wanted to come out here and say, Foster, it's all good, man. Everybody drops him. So
Yeah, man. Oh, Kendall. Kendall woke up the next morning and she was like, "I saw that guy crying on the sideline." She was like, I want to like take a sledgehammer to whoever says anything mean about him."
yeah, it's
He-
okay. Anybody who has something bad to say about Foster Moreau, go suit up in full pads, play an entire NFL game, and go for a catch to tie the game in the fourth quarter, and make the catch, and send me a video of that, and then we can talk.
yep. Pixar didn't happen. Let us see that.
Full video, all 22 and everything.
We'll break it down.
We kind of talked about ref ball at its finest, but just touching on it again. Jesus Christ, the refs fucking suck. We need so. I talked about this with my family actually. My family who doesn't watch football.
You have a family?
Kinda, not really. They're all scattered throughout the states.
The worldwide globe.
But anywho, the refs need to be able to be fined. They need to be salary. They need to have like film study, and they need to have repercussions. And those fines can be repercussions. They need to have more repercussions than just fines.
On the same topic of the game, in a happier note, um, you want to take it? He's your guy.
I'm gonna go ahead and quiet that down.
Yeah, jeez, that blew my ear holes off.
Shout out Daryl
Yeah,
Henderson. Big old shout out to Daryl Henderson.
I think that was. Yeah, you don't have to say it after the fact. That was a actual shout out to Daryl Henderson.
He came in. He had a really nice average in the first half. I think he slowed it down a little bit towards the end of the game. I think he had a bit of a lower average, but still came in, played quality running back snaps, was a quality running back, got a touchdown, first game back. And it was all in the span of half a week. It was like Daryl Henderson's on the practice squad. Oh, he's been called up to the active roster. Oh my God, he's starting. And it was just, yeah, he's familiar with the system, so he's going to be the starting back and split snaps with whoever else they signed. And
Oh, while we're on that
he did that.
topic, we could go ahead and I can parade around myself for a second because McCall Hardman got traded right after we recorded that last video.
He
Prior
did.
to it coming out, he's on the Chiefs, and then he goes ahead and he like obviously he's picking up where he left off. It's not like much has changed since he was last on the team, coaching wise, offense. Like you know, he may not have lit up the scoreboard with like a passing touchdown, but he had that huge return and really just put the one punt return for 50 yards. Huge play, just like the thunderous applause. It was pretty hype. That's all I wanted to say about the Chiefs fucking pounding on the Chargers there. Excuse my language.
into that, we can actually briefly mention Justin Ross, not for too long because we've got that in the news segment, but that
Hmm.
Miko Hardman acquisition is looking real good now.
Yes,
And
agreed.
also, speaking of fast Chiefs receivers, can't go that way without talking about Tyreek Hill. And a week ago, it was like right after we recorded the video, I saw a stat that was talking about his pace and how he was on pace to break the receiving yards record. But not only is he on pace to break the receiving yards record, he was on pace to do it in 15 games. And he had a good game this week, but only had 88 yards, which is great, but not keeping that 15 game pace. And so
Yeah,
he's
which was
he's
averaging like 130 yards a game.
it's fucking absurd. But he's still on pace to break the record by a substantial amount, and he's actually on pace to do it in 16 games. And I think he needs to, if he's gonna do it, he needs to do it in 16 games. Because if he doesn't, it's going to be the same people that talked about running backs getting 2,000 yards in a 14 game season versus them getting it in a 16 game season. And it's going to be the same people talking about how Tyreek Hill got 2,000 yards, but he did it in a 17 game season, so it just doesn't count. It just doesn't matter. It's so easy to do that. That's why it's been done every single season since they added the 17 game season. And obviously, a lot of that is me being a little bit hyperbolic and exaggerating a bit,
A little
throwing some
over the
big
top there,
words.
I would
Yeah.
say. Hyperbolic.
But I think that if he does do it in 16 games, then there's no denying that he is having the best receiver season ever. Whereas if he does it in 17, then it can be talked about, well, if Megatron had had that 17th game, he would have done it too. And
Mhm.
that's what he needs to escape from, is if Megatron had the 17th game. And so if he does it in 16, that talk can't happen because Megatron did 19 something in 16 games, and Tyreek Hill would have done 2K in 16 games. And that's what needs to happen. So that's my little piece on it. Obviously, regardless, he's having an amazing season. Like Tyreek Hill doing great. Could be
Yep.
in the
I've been
MVP talks for
seeing,
a receiver.
yeah, I've been having that pop up a lot. Uh, too much for my thinking. Where it'll be every other week it's someone new for, oh, this guy's the new leader of the MVP talk. It's like
I
you're not even like keeping, like Brock Purdy one week, now it's on the Tyreek Hill.
yeah,
It was CMC a couple weeks ago. Like
yeah. I was
pick one and it's at least stick kind of to it. Like come on.
I saw like the top
Um
10 betting odds for MVP. Brock Purdy's still third, and I'm just, dude. After these past 2 weeks, he's. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, and I'm not saying he's not still playing good football because he's still playing decent enough football to keep them in a lot of games. But third, the third most likely person to win MVP, I don't see it at all.
I mean, Tyreek Hill isn't even in the top 10 for the list I saw.
Yeah,
So, dude, im- what? Don't know. Um,
it'll be a different. It's a different top three every week until like
yeah.
week 15, 16. Then we start getting an actual picture of it. I kind of like Lamar for MVP right now. He's playing really good football with not a lot of weapons, and he's got
Hey, his weapon suddenly learned how to catch playing the Lions, and that's where
shit.
I'm leaving
Yeah.
it. I don't want to pile onto that convo.
So far this season, he's 71% completion percentage, is second in the league, I believe. And then
Yeah.
he's over 1,600 yards, 8 touchdowns to only 3 picks. So he's efficient with the ball. He's a good passer. And that's not even mentioning his rushing stats, which this season he's picked up.
He's picked up 363
That's 363.
on the year.
Yeah, that's really good. That's
Yep.
really good for a quarterback through 7 games. So was it 6 or
Yeah,
7?
it's kind of that same boat. 7,
Okay.
unless he played injured.
No. I was wondering
Because
what
he
that
got
week
injured.
was.
Uh, um,
Nope, that's not.
the kind of conversation we had with Justin Fields, where like suddenly, he's being forced to be a passer, and then their passing gets better. Like his personal passing stats got better. It's kind of the same where they have that new, like they have OBJ underutilized in their offense up until probably this week where he actually got targeted, but they they're still working on figuring out that part, and it was a good good start. They've been gaining momentum for it. So while we say like, oh well, Lamar's not doing the same things he always does with his legs, he's doing significantly better passing and showing that he still can pass. Like he's never not been able to pass. It's just
Yeah, I
been
was
what
gonna say
people
he's
say.
always been a really efficient passer. His career completion percentage is over 60%, which for a running quarterback, I feel like that's not like I feel like 60. It's almost 65%. I feel like 65% is well above average for just name a quarterback. I feel like 65% is
Hmm.
average, if not above average, by a little bit. And so for somebody to
Yeah,
be that
Mike
lethal,
Vick, quick comparison, 56 completion
yeah.
percentage.
So for somebody to be that lethal with their legs and be able to get out of the pocket and also be an accurate passer, it's I mean, he's great. We've talked about how we love watching him move around in the pocket before. It's one of the most beautiful things you can watch. It's like watching Steph or Clay shoot a jumper, Like it's pure. It's nice.
So in a week where Mahomes threw for 424 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception, the fact that Lamar Jackson, the running back, is like kind of being touted as a better performance is really goes to show how media just flips
Yeah.
at a switch.
21 to 27, 357, 3 touchdowns, no picks is a masterclass for any player. And then to also have an additional 36 yards on the ground with a touchdown. It's 4 total
Yeah,
touchdowns and no turnovers. So, really
moving
good.
forward.
Jordan Addison has arrived. I figured it would happen with Justin Jefferson being injured, but took a game.
Hmm. Took a game for them to figure it out, and I mean, way harder team this week.
Dude, the freaking the play, right? With Jordan Addison. Kirk bombs it up straight to the defense. Jordan Addison takes it out of the defense's hands. 60-yard touchdown. Jesus Christ. That's a scary
Yeah,
duo. I can't wait for them to lose out the rest of the season and get a good quarterback in
Marvin
the draft.
Harrison. Oh, just pile onto the wide
The
receiver
fuck?
is the
Yeah,
route I
take
thought you
Marvin
were going.
Harrison Jr. Do it. Why don't you? Right?
Yeah. Hey, they already got 3 wins. That's too many to
Yeah,
get
it's too
first
many to get the
overall.
first overall pick, but they can still get Drake May. They could get Shadur. They could get any
Hmm.
any number of guys that would just plug into that offense and immediately have the best scenario of any young quarterback. So
Yep. As long as they re-sign Justin Jefferson and don't trade him away.
yeah,
Just kidding. That's not gonna happen.
they'll
Uh,
franchise tag him if nothing else. They have to.
yeah. Come on now. Um, I mean, hey, tight end day was this Sunday.
A couple guys
Uh,
went off. Everybody, I feel like a lot of
okay,
tight ends had a really good day, but
a lot of them did. Yeah, it
th-
was. I think they just circled the calendar and they're like, "This is the week I have to go off. You
they
can't
always
not target
do.
me here." Like Lamar, you better be throwing it to me. And just you could go down the list. Like,
Yeah, I
everyone
mean
had a pretty good game.
the four that stood out really were Dallas Goddard, Travis Kelsey, Mark Andrews as kind of like a mock-up top three tight ends. Like
Hmm.
it wouldn't be a stretch
They're
to put
always
any of
in
them in the
the
top
top 5.
three. But
Yeah.
Darren Waller was a name that I was kind of shocked to see after he had kind of had a flop to start the season. He showed up today and showed up on Sunday and showed out and did really well on National Tight Ends Day. So that was nice to see. And then
How has
on
he been doing?
he's
Nope,
been
that's
okay. Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely his best. His other game was against the Miami. He had 8 catches that game. His only higher than last week, and 86 yards, which was less. No touchdowns. First touchdown game on National Tight Ends Day.
Yeah. And then the day
Incredible.
after as well, TJ Hawkinson had a good game, but that's not National
But
Tight
we
Ends
don't
Day,
count that.
so we don't count
Yeah,
it.
get out of here.
Is it time? Is it time? Is it time? Because I don't
My
remember.
original question was a very minor, like small topic. It was going to be either, I mean, yeah, this can be in the video, but we were going to do a quarterback rankings video before the season. Thank God we didn't because our takes would be exposed for all the world to see.
They already are with
Um,
the grading draft grade video.
yeah, but it would have been a lot worse. um, but it was going to be kind of a question I posed during that, like the fallout of the that video after we like knew each other's full quarterback comparisons. Because if you told me to rank quarterbacks prior to this NFL season, I probably would have gone Mahomes number one, and Tua number two, and then Jalen, and then Joe, and then Josh Allen. That would have been my top five for you. Um,
Joe
Clearly,
Burrow's having a
Joe
rough year.
has not had the year we have come to know for him being, and that's for him when he's healthy, and he's not healthy. So just something to look out for when they come off of their bye week next week. But the question I pose now is because my original question was going to be, how hot of a take do you think I am for putting Tua above Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, who all leading up to this season, like Tua had the whole concussion and all of those injury concerns, but
Outside of that, he
now
was an elite
Tua's
quarterback.
top.
So
Yeah, but that was kind of the thing that would hinder a lot of people to say, "Oh, Tua's number one," or "Oh, Tua's number two." So that out of the way, out of the original question out of the way, I kind of out of the quarterbacks here who we perceive to be the best out of those top five, basically I mentioned,
I'd edge Lamar in
who's
there over somebody.
Mahomes, Tua, Jalen. Well,
Over
I'm not
Joe.
saying
We'll
current,
swap
but
out Joe
if we're, yeah, we'll swap out Joe because of the
because of
anomaly
this
year
season.
he's
Yeah,
having.
so
But
far.
yeah, so um, the question I pose here is out of those like top five mentioned quarterbacks, who has the best situation? And if you
Tua.
were to put any of the other people into that situation, are they blowing their stats out of the water?
No,
Because I mean, so
but
if you argue situation,
mm,
we'll start with that part of the question. We have Mahomes listed. Mahomes' receiving room isn't all that, but he has Kelsey, so he always has that one option to pass to no matter what.
yeah.
Then you have Lamar, same situation where he doesn't have a. I mean, he's got like weapons, but they just don't produce
They're wide
consistently.
receiver twos. They're just high end wide receiver
Yeah,
twos. They're not, and I think OBJ is regressing to the point of being that this season at least.
he's a wide receiver one that regressed into wide receiver two. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now the obvious one to me that stands out is Tua, because I mean we got Legion of Zoom over there,
yeah. I mean,
but with the Legion of Zoom you can't count out Jalen, and while they're not as fast, they're definitely as good.
I'm gonna
I
okay.
mean, I would take Tua's over, but for
Yeah,
Jalen, you also have Dallas Goddard, who what's the tight end for the Dolphins? I don't know his name. You know,
I think it's Durham Smith. He's probably like the
check
third
him out.
string tight end or something. Hold on.
Something wild. I'm pulling it up. It is tight end Durham Smith, and then Julian Hill and Tyler Croft.
Ooh,
So
I
a
know my
name
shit.
that should be tight end three.
Yeah. Don't ask Connor
um,
Durham Smith. I don't know. Yeah. So I think, shit, that's tough.
and then
I think the
obviously
Eagles. No,
back
I
up at
think
the end.
actually, I take it back. I think the Eagles have the best situation. I think that situation is better, and it's the O line that does it for me.
It's
I
the O
think top
lines.
two
Yeah,
top two receiving threats easy. I think the running backs are utilized better in Miami, and I also think the coaching is better in Miami.
the
Not a knock on Nick
scheme I would
Sirianni.
say. Yeah,
Not a knock on Sirianni at all. He's great. He's doing amazing
yeah.
things with that team.
It's
But
it's praise to McDaniel
yeah,
is what it is.
Mike
Yeah,
McDaniel is doing insane things with the Dolphins. So if we're including coach with the scenario, then it gets really tough. But I still think
yeah.
Sirianni's good enough that that O line and tight end kind of carry it. Because I don't know. The only other issue though is you said would the other quarterbacks do better with Tua? We don't know what the ceiling is for that offense because the knock on Tua is always oh his arm isn't as strong, and while that's true to an extent,
Yeah, I'd
is
say
it
he's still
also
got a
true that
pretty good candidate.
yeah, and is it also true that somebody else could command that offense as effectively? There was this is kind of a side note, but during the Dolphins game,
You're talking
how
about lefty? The
Yeah.
lefty throw.
There was a
Yeah,
lefty throw that had like just the slightest tiny little bit of curve that if a right-handed player had thrown it, it was either getting batted down or picked. And because he
yeah.
was left-handed, the ball came in on the left side or on that side that's closer to the line of scrimmage. It was a throw to the left side. And so it made it past the DB. And so obviously the system doesn't rely on throws like that because that's not something you can plan for. But in that situation, a right-handed quarterback would not have done that better. And that's, I mean,
And the argument could be made that if it was a right-handed quarterback, that play is being drawn up flipped,
yeah.
with the read and progression being flipped because he would be throwing it and it'd still be that
I think
short arm angle.
If we say the Eagles have the best situation, then first 4 weeks Jalen Hurts, any other quarterback's doing better. Full season Jalen Hurts, I don't think so. But if we say the Dolphins have the best situation,
So
I think other quarterbacks are doing better. I think Mahomes would do better, and I think Lamar would do better. But I don't think anything past that. Maybe Josh
so
Allen, but
you
probably not.
you kept Josh Allen out of it. And I feel like if you were to put Josh Allen into the Eagles scheme where
5 yard
they
5 yard tush pushes every single time.
5 yards, like these
They get
thing
so
is too, he might just bounce it out himself. That might
yeah.
just be a play call they have where he's like, oh, faking it, and he's bouncing it out and he's picking up yards because he's gonna just outmuscle everybody.
The thing is with Josh Allen is he's getting the tush push yards without the same blocking and the same pushing. He's
Yeah,
just dropping down and pushing his back into it. I don't know if you've ever watched the QB sneaks with
yeah,
Josh
he
Allen,
puts
but he's just like,
everything into it.
I'm 6'5", I am bigger than you. I'm gonna push my way over this line. And if that was behind the Eagles O line, which we've talked about as like that's the driving force of the tush push
Yeah,
success, then I think Josh Allen might do better, but also more surface area to get hit than a shorter quarterback like Jalen Hurts, where he can also get the lower leverage and get beneath the defense and kind of work with that cleaving line of offensive linemen. So I don't know.
yeah. And if you made the argument that like Jalen is like that ball security, like gets the yards, checks down when he needs, all of that, yet out of the five mentioned, Tua and Mahomes have the least interceptions,
Yeah,
with
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen
That's what I'm saying
having
though.
that
Is
regression for the start of this season,
that's what I'm saying. First four
where
weeks, Jalen Hurts. Anybody. First 3 weeks, we'll go. Jalen Hurts. Anybody could have done it better. Most recent 3 weeks, he was a little rough against Tampa. He's only thrown one touchdown a game in those past 3 games. So I think other quarterbacks could do it better. Or sorry, I'm looking at the
I
wrong
mean,
ones. I'm looking
yeah,
backwards.
if you got like TD Int in mind, I mean Josh Allen's 15-7, Jalen Hurts 9-8, and then Tua 15-6, Mahomes 15-6. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy that Mahomes and Tua, like I'd say Mahomes with his situation having those stats is the most impressive
Yeah.
part out of this group.
I'll say this. Mahomes would do better than any other quarterback in any other situation. No matter what quarterback we're talking about, put Mahomes in a situation, he is doing better than every single other quarterback in the NFL. That's it.
I think flipping that makes better sense where none of the other quarterbacks put into Mahomes situation with those wide receivers would stand as good of a, and granted two of those weeks were no Kelsey. So
Yeah.
it's not like you could say like, oh, well, he's got Kelsey to fall back on. He didn't have him for a third of the span that we're
But
talking
that's
about.
just what Lamar's doing.
That's valid.
Where
But
he's got a bit of a tight end who's missed some games, Mark Andrews. I don't know if he has this season, but I know in the past he's been pretty injury prone where he's missed a few games every year.
yeah.
And
But I'm saying look at Mahomes stats and look at Lamar's. And if you want to compare their
yeah,
situations,
yeah.
yeah.
They're also different play
Um,
styles. But I see what you mean though. Like, yeah, I don't think Lamar would be doing as well, but I also don't know if he'd be doing as poorly as the other quarterbacks. I feel like he's more of a one man show than any of those other top quarterbacks.
yeah.
Because Josh Allen throws enough ducks that he
I
needs
think
his
Josh Allen
receivers to go
tries to
catch,
be a one man show,
and that's a
and
problem.
that tends to get the it gets away from him. Are you going to stand firm in the Jalen has the best situation and Jalen is the best to perform in that situation?
No, not after relooking at Jalen's season stats.
Yeah.
Because that was rough. I forgot he was so rough this season. This past game he looked great, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I
a game out of seven.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
I
Jalen
think
Hurts, out of people listed, is fourth for QBR on the year,
okay.
and only one behind is actually no, he's
He's
one,
last.
two,
Yeah,
three. He's last. Yeah,
yeah.
I
All right.
mixed it up.
I think Mahomes is doing better in every situation, and I think Lamar is doing better in either of those two situations. Because I'm just looking at it like what quarterbacks have we listed that are in worse situations, like significantly worse than those two, that are still playing at a top five level because we're listing them as top five quarterbacks.
Yeah,
So if they're playing at this level in their shitty situations, put them in a situation with good weapons, and they're the best quarterback in the league. So
yeah. Tua is just going to be more of a lateral move. Where will he outperform what Jalen's been doing? Maybe, but that's just because Jalen was off to a slow start.
yeah,
When if you were to look at probably at the end of the season stats, it might be a lot closer than just like, oh, I had a 70-point game, so I really have those stats to carry me for the rest of the weeks.
yeah,
While Jalen doesn't have any substantial performance other than probably last.
yeah. It's an interesting question. I I do think that, like I said, Lamar and Mahomes are the one man shows that are good at it. And then Josh Allen's just kind of an outlier where put him in any situation he's going to be doing the same shit he's doing right now, which is good football, not great football. Or if you want to put a better signifier on it, great football, not elite football. So, I think that's where I stand and that's all I've got to say on that.
Yeah, I think that was a nice little segment to bring.
Yeah, definitely. Very interesting question. Thank you for that. On to some rapid fire news if you want to do that. Rapid fire news segment. Nick Bolton out 6 weeks with a dislocated wrist. Is that a solid 6 weeks and he's back, or is that like he's probably going to be gone for 6 weeks?
That was the discussed. I could probably see an update because that's what I'd seen earlier. Let me.
I'll keep it moving while you figure that out.
Yeah,
Chris Olave and Justin Ross both got arrested recently. Olave for going 35 over the speed limit, which is odd to be arrested for that, but still, slow it down, bud. And then Justin Ross had some weird things that he was doing. No concrete facts have come out, but it's not looking good, and I'm surprised he hasn't been released already.
yeah, me too. To get the Nick Bolton news, he performed surgery and the expected recovery time is 6 weeks.
Okay.
So it's not like he's placed on IR and that's when he'd be eligible to return or anything like that. That's
Yeah.
just the expected recovery time for the
Okay. So he'll
surgery.
probably be back in. He'll be back before the playoffs. That's for sure.
Yep.
And then just to keep on the topic of some degenerates, we've got Kareem Jackson finally getting suspended after all his dirty hits. He's out for 4 games with his. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's breaking news. Breaking news as of 2 minutes ago.
Kareem
Kareem
Jackson
Jackson,
has only been suspended for 2 weeks, not 4. Pathetic.
after his
NFL is
appeal,
pathetic. NFL is awful.
we should
So
all stop
that's
watching
awful.
because they love ref ball
He
and
should
they
have.
hate safety.
There was talk about him like being a dirty player in the off season. Like
Yeah,
this is not
because
new.
this happened enough last year.
And then it happened 4 times this year before they said anything about it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, 4 weeks is a little short. I don't know. I guess. And then
It's
they're
probably
like,
because they like seeing the fine check come in from Kareem Jackson every week.
it is some good money.
Yeah.
Biggest trade: Kevin Byard to the Eagles in exchange for a safety and a pick, and that's a, if not direct vertical move, it's at least a bigger name that is more well respected and feared by the rest of the NFL. So Kevin Byard's been a top
And
safety for a few years now, and adding
yeah.
that to the defense is fucking crazy. So
Yeah. It's a bit wild that the Titans didn't learn from the last time they did a trade with the Eagles that it might be a little one sided, not in their favor.
my
I'm not sure if it's the same GM, but if it is, he's in trouble.
my guess is Kevin Byard wanted out, and so they got what they could with him, which is
Hmm.
a decent like a replacement safety from a good system that knows what he's doing, and a pick. And if you've got a player that wants out and doesn't want to play for you anymore, that's kind of the best you can do.
Yeah.
And then right before we started recording, we got a little bit of news that Marvin Jones is stepping away from football to deal with a family matter, and he's been released by the Lions.
It
So
was mutually agreed upon. Just saying.
okay,
I feel
I
like
wasn't 100%
I've seen
sure.
everything say that like, oh, he got released, and it's kind of just like, well, that seems like a dick move, but it
Well,
was
yeah, but
like
if he's like,
he's
hey, I'm gonna
stepping
be
away for
gone for a
good.
while,
Yeah,
and they're like, okay, thanks for the roster spot. So yeah, prayers up to whatever he's going through. Hope it's not
whatever's going
anything
on
too
there.
serious, but if it's serious enough to step away from football, it's probably not too good. And then
Yeah, I
Brett,
think the main issue with it was that he doesn't live with his family in Detroit. He lives like he traveled to be with his family last week. He missed this
okay,
last week with a personal issue, and I think that that's kind of probably what got exacerbated. Whatever the situation is, got worse, and he's probably just spending time with his family now.
okay. Brett Maher got released after missing some kicks, which is unfortunate, but make your kicks.
The replacement kicker was found. I believe it is the Indianapolis Colts
Rodrigo
uh,
Blankenship.
practice practice squatter. Let me finish talking. Maybe you'll get the correct information next
I
time.
just wanted it to be. I just wanted to be the bespectacled kicker.
I also have more breaking news.
Oh boy.
Actually, let me find the punter's name first. I don't want
Is
to do him
is
dirty.
is New News copyrighted by New Heights?
I think it is. I think I'm
Shit.
just gonna have to cut that out.
Semi up to date
Uh,
news.
yeah.
I don't think they're gonna come after us. If they do, that'd be lit. Thanks, Jason, for
Recent news.
recognizing us. Breaking news.
Thanks. Yeah. New news. I can't find the name. Rams. Grandma.
Huh?
Literally, why is nothing? Okay, I can't even say his fucking.
Lucas Haversick. Lucas
Yeah, can't even
Haversick.
say it once I find it.
All right, cool.
Lucas Everson off the Browns practice squad. Sorry, I thought of the wrong side of that ref ball game I watched. Um, we can
What is
also
your
mention
What's your
Malik
breaking news?
Cunningham.
Oh yeah, Malik Cunningham did get released. Unfortunately, I wanted him to step in and be a starter for the Patriots, but
He might pass waivers once again, which would be insane if it happened twice.
there's
But
gotta
there's
be
got to be
something
something
else.
cooking.
There's gotta be something going on with like his inability to read defenses or something that's keeping him off the field. Because in preseason he looked
Bill's in his
electric.
head. Something's going on, you know. Um,
Yeah, maybe it's
the
kind of a thing where people like other GMs are like, oh, Bill released him. Okay, and they're just like letting it go because they're like, oh, if Bill doesn't
yeah,
want him, nobody
it's like
wants him.
yeah. And then the new news come at us. Come on, Kelsey's. Bring that Taylor Swift money. Come get
Sue
us.
us, sue us.
Uh huh.
We'll
Get
give
her
you
lawyers.
$20. That's more money than has been spent on anything
Whoa.
in this podcast.
Yeah, for sure. Come on now. Just giving away my net worth on. Um, the breaking news is Deshaun Watson's injury. I saw him miss majority of the game, as we mentioned, after throwing two interceptions. But Watson's injury has the doctor's diagnosis of missing it's a strain of the subcapillaries of the rotator cuff in doctor speak. The normal
Shoulder
part we
strain.
care about, yeah, the normal part we care about is that usually this injury in baseball players causes them to miss upwards of a month, 4 to 6 weeks. So that could be what we're looking at for Deshaun Watson.
DTR, DTR, DTR.
They already showed us they're not going to give us DTR. They
I
hate us. They
know,
hate your bingo.
but my
They
bingo.
want nothing to do. They want nothing to do with us, and that's why we're going to get sued by the Kelseys.
It's
I mean,
fine. It's fine. I'm a fan of PJ Walker. I will say that.
yeah.
I liked
mean,
watching him in the XFL. He was good, and then
exactly. XFL 1
yeah,
was it was a whale of time. There's my cat waking up in the background, and he's laying back down.
woo.
That was my play-by-play call of
Cat
a
moving.
cat sleeping.
Riveting content.
It's what you come here for, isn't it?
We can move to the stock watch. I have some moves that I would like to make. So, just as a refresher, my current bank is sitting at $0, but my net worth is now
Oh
up
boy.
to over $2,000 at 2,225 fake NFL stock dollars. The Bengals had their bye weeks. They sat even at 500. The Jaguars won. They went up to 725. The Bears won. We didn't mention that enough, I feel like, that the Bears fucking
Yeah,
won.
the Bears won with not
Tyson
Justin
Badgett.
Fields. So why do we
Yeah.
care?
See, that's fair. But Bears won, which makes them go up to $300 a share, 300 fake NFL stock dollars, of course. And I have
Fake
three
NFL stock
shares.
dollars.
I have three
Shut up.
shares, which means they're worth 900. And then obviously the Panthers didn't win for me, so they're still worth 100. They had their bye week as well as the Bengals.
Yeah. They lost to the bye week, unfortunately. They're still defeated.
You want to update
For
your
me, on
values?
my flip side, I've got 250 in the bank. So I got some money if I wanted to buy the some Panthers. I don't. Nothing else is really in my price range other than the Cardinals. But my net worth is 2,300, ever so slightly above Gabe's. I
I'm
have
catching up a little bit.
stock in the Texans. Huh?
I said I'm catching up a
Yeah,
little bit.
you're catching up a little bit. I got some stock in the Texans, the Rams, the Bears, and the Bengals. Of that group, I had two on bye week, so nothing really going up there. The Rams lost, and the Bears won. So, do you wanna get us started with any moves that you might have in terms of selling?
Yeah, so I am so unconfident in the Bears, led by Tyson Badgett. I almost sold them last week at a loss, and I was like, you know what? It's the Raiders. Anything can happen. Let me hold on to them, and anything did happen. So now that instead of being worth 625 is what I think they were last week for three shares, or 575 maybe. I don't know. Whatever it was worth last week.
Last week, Bears were 175 each.
175 times three, 525. So instead of being worth 525, now they're worth 900 for my three shares. I'm getting rid of that shit. So now I have 900 in the bank, and I no longer have any Bears stock. However, I am going to be
With
picking up
900 in the bank.
with 900 in the bank. I'm going to be spending all of it. So I'm
Whoa,
going to be buying
a top
two.
end team or a lot of a team?
I'm going to be buying two shares of two different teams. So
Okay,
first off,
that's all.
I'm
That's
gonna
some
top
bad teams.
I'm gonna top off my Panther stock. So I'm gonna top them off. I'm gonna have 300 in them because again, I said this when I bought the Panther stock last time that not having them makes no sense because they will never be worth less than $100. If they end up going 1-16 or like 0-17, they're still going to be worth
You made money.
$100
Yep.
because even if they average out to be below it, the minimum
Hmm.
price is 100. So my money is only ever going to go up. It's never going to go down. So it makes no sense not to have those. So with that purchase, I am knocked down to 700. And then a team that just lost a game that they were very well expected to lose. And it's a
I
team
know where you're going.
that has some potential despite some issues in the coaching department specifically. The Chargers are sitting at 2-4 on the year. 2-4.
That's not where I was
They are worth
expecting.
they
But
are worth $350. And if you come and tell me that the Chargers are not going to win a couple of games coming up, just to look ahead at their schedule
they go
this
ahead and
week
they play the Bears,
this week they play the
then
Bears,
the Jets.
then the Jets, which both of those are winnable games. The Bears much more so than the Jets. They play the Lions, might lose that one, and then they play
Packers.
the Packers, a winnable game. So they're in the next four games, they're looking at winning 2 to 3 of them, and that'll increase their value. If they're 500, they increase their value. So I am going to be putting 700, the last 700 of my hard-earned dollars into two shares
Ooh, all your
of
money's.
the Chargers stock. And another move I could make that I was thinking about is moving on from Jaguar stock because if they win this week, they add $25, and if they lose, they drop 100. So it's a little bit less of
That's
a
what I did
return.
with my Lions.
Yeah. And your Lions lost in a game that we kind of both expected them to win.
It
However,
was close. It was close.
how,
In my brain pregame.
yeah. However, this week the Jaguars play the Steelers. And I cannot, in my right mind, put any amount of stock into the Steelers beating the Jaguars. I can't do it. I can't. It's impossible. I cannot give them any like semblance of me thinking the Jags have any chance of losing. So I'm keeping that Jaguar stock. And then Bengals are still worth 500. I'm holding on to those for obvious reasons.
Okay. So you went ahead and dumped the Bears, and you went ahead and picked up the team that's playing them. If I'm to understand that correctly, um,
I
I'm also a holder of the Bears stock. Uh, the Bears play the Chargers, as we mentioned. The week after that, they play the Saints, and then the week after that, they play the winless Panthers. So I have 250 in the bank. My bear stock went up 125 per share, just like yours did. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna sell one of my bear stock, but I'm holding on hope that Tyler Badgett maybe leads them to another win and that they make it to that garbage fest that is going to be played in Week 10 against the Panthers on Thursday Night Football. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get some insurance on that because I'm gonna pick up one share of the Panthers stock on the off chance that they happen to win something between now and then. Um, and if they do win and they beat the Bears, that's just hey, I'm getting money in either way. Money's going up,
mhm.
so I'll have that to go for me. Um, but as you said, the Panthers are kind of a bit in a big hole where they need to win a good few amount of games to actually increase their stock. But until then, we're not going to lose money on them. So I am comfortable, making that selection there. Now I'm left with 450 in the bank. And if I go around and I peruse some teams that are affordable to me, there's not many of them.
Why?
And
Hold on, hold on,
of
hold on,
those,
hold on, hold on. What doesn't make sense here?
what doesn't?
Why does your net worth now say 2,200 because it was 2,300?
Because it doesn't include the Panthers.
Yeah, you're right.
Update that real quick while I
Yeah,
look at my
let me do
moves.
that. Sorry, we're doing all this on a spreadsheet. I did what I thought was a pretty good job of making sure everything was included in the formula to, um,
Count for things.
yeah, but apparently it did not. So now you're up to 2,300. Mine, mine does go to the bottom one, so I just messed up yours. Okay,
Ah, yeah,
cool.
that sounds like you. Just go ahead and neglect me, why don't you? Um, Next, there's a lot of teams that I keep having on a wish list that I keep looking at their schedule and thinking they're not showing me enough to show that they can go and win those games. And I think I'm gonna shoot the shot on one of them.
Homie does not
Do
have
I
enough
want
money
to?
for the Texans stock, but he wants them.
Oh yeah,
You
I
already have
want
one
them
of the
bad. I
Texans
want a
stock.
lot of players. I want to double up my stocks. You're right. I was looking at them. I'm like I kind of want to do that instead, but I think I might play it a little bit ballsy. I'm expecting this stock to lose value in the next couple weeks. But am I expecting it to continue to lose value is the question for the whole long term point of view. I don't. So I'm going to give that team a couple more weeks and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick up one of the Giants in a last
Very
second
weird.
change of
That's
my mind.
awful. Don't do that.
A last second change of my mind. They beat a garbage team already. But I think that coming up, the Jets, it'll be interesting. And it's really just going to depend on does Brian Dable get to coaching better? Because they haven't had that same gel that they had that lit a fire under them and took them to the playoffs.
I
They finally got their first win. Do they capitalize on it to go in back to back games? Again, good quarterback play from an otherwise mediocre quarterback.
I will say Tyrod Taylor has been much better than Daniel Jones has been for
Yes.
them. So if they continue putting Tyrod Taylor out there, even when Danny Dimes
Mm-hmm.
is healthy, then I see that stock rising. But they've got so much damn money in Daniel Jones, I don't think they bench him when he's healthy. As good as that
I'm
would be, but
hoping for it. I'm hoping for it for the hope of winning games.
you and me
They
both.
make a smart move there.
You and me both.
Um, I will go ahead and spoil what my other team was that I was looking at. It was the Cardinals. It was going to be picking up a lot of Cardinals stock with the return of Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
But we I don't like their oncoming matchups with Kyler Murray coming back
He's
when they
not going
have
to be
to
back
play.
this week, so
Yeah, I
that's
know he's not back this week. He plays the Browns in week 9. Like it would be getting them a little premature while they are at a good price before they might have the chance to win any more games, but it's still just like I could see it going down and
yeah.
down and down. So I
The
will end off with still 150 in bank, so I could probably maybe still pick up the Cardinals in a few weeks if I don't sell anything else.
yeah. My I mean, I had something to say. I swear I did. I don't remember what it was. There's a couple of stocks that I saw that I was like, or the Bears. I wanted to talk about the Bears. I am not ruling out buying them back next week. I'm just saying I don't think they're winning this one. They could, and they could shock me and make me regret my decision of selling the Bears and buying the Chargers, but I just don't see it. And I don't see the Bears having a better next 3 weeks than the Chargers. So that's a team that I definitely want to be invested in. Just because they have the talent, they just need to be able to put it together. And if Brandon Staley can't win a couple games, then I'll be a little surprised. He's not good, but I think that with the talent they can overcome that for at least a couple
They
games.
manage to, yeah,
Yeah.
every year they manage to win a couple games.
So that's what I'm betting on for them. And I like the bet on them, especially at 350. It's such a damn low price. It's so low for
Hmm.
such a high end team.
Talented group, yeah.
At their peak, they're like top four seed in the well, not top four seed, but they're top four by record in the AFC. They won't be
Hmm.
a top four seed because that's for the
If they
division
if
leaders and
they
the
played their
Chiefs.
best every week of every year, yeah,
Yeah,
but they don't.
yeah, they don't, unfortunately. But I still like them. And then obviously the Jaguars, I just like having them. I just think they're neat.
Hmm.
So that's going to be all our stock moves, I think. And we're at an hour and a half recording. This is going to be an hour and a half
Yeah,
long video easily.
this is long, Conquer.
I think it's time we go to the pick'ems and get that out of the way while we still have well, no sunlight left, but while we still have some gas in the tank.
Hmm.
And we'll do another quick fire one like we did last week. The sheets are on the screen right above us, as you can see. So for me, first game of the week, Thursday night, Bills Bucks in Buffalo. I got the Bills winning that one. The Bills have a curse that they are just as good as every team they play, and I don't know if did you send me that or did I just see that?
I believe you just saw that. I don't recall that. I
I,
send you lots of Bills hate. So
yeah, I saw a post that said the Bills are cursed with the ability to be just as good as every single team they face. And I haven't seen a more accurate take about the Bills and why
hmm
they're so good in some games and so bad in others. But I still have the Bills over the Bucks. Then Texans Panthers. This is the game that I think the Panthers can take. I don't think they
mm,
will, but I think this is their most winnable game. I still
yeah,
have the Texans over them, obviously, but I think that if they were
yeah.
to win one of their first seven, this would be the one.
It's week 8. You might not have lost your entire fan base. You might still have some fans in the stadium to get that home field advantage. But yeah, it's kind of looking like the Panthers are not going to have the pick that ends up going to the Bears
Yeah.
for that very early first rounder.
Next up, Rams at Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys, so I'm picking the Rams. Vikings at Packers. The Vikings showed out this week, and I think they're going to do it again in a hostile Lambeau. And because it's a hostile Lambeau, I can definitely see the Packers winning. I just don't think it's going to happen. Especially with the emergence of Jordan Addison and him actually playing well. So
Hmm. And
that's
Jordan
where I'm at.
Love kind of dropping the ball.
Yeah, he's sucked. He has absolutely sucked. Week 1 he looked fine, but then that was
Week 2, it was like, okay, he's still kind of being good, and it's just been dropping off since.
I was high on him in week 1 because I thought the Bears were good, and then I realized I was mistaken, and that he actually was not good. He was just barely beating a bad team. Then next up we got Saints at Colts. I have the Colts winning this one. In Indy, Gardner Minshew led them to a near victory against the Browns, which is like the top defense in the league. And the only reason they didn't win is because of the refs. So I think they can win at home against against the Saints as well. Patriots at Dolphins. Ain't no fucking way they do it twice in a row. So I'm gonna take the Dolphins. And
They're not going to knock off the top twice.
by ain't no way they do it twice in a row, I mean ain't no way the Patriots win twice in a row, and there's no way the Dolphins lose twice in a row. So I'm gonna just double up on that and say the Dolphins are beating the Patriots. Jets at Giants. I like the Jets more than I like the Giants. I've got the Jets winning that one. I think that Zach
Uh,
Wilson has played better than anybody expected him to, and that the Giants have played way worse than anybody expected them to, except me. I had them very lowly ranked on my initial ranking, and I've been justified in that. And then Jags at Steelers. I don't know if it's obvious yet. I'm taking the Jaguars in this one. And then Falcons Titans.
so I'm going to get whined at if I pick against them. Noted.
Falcons at Titans. I'm gonna go with Titans. I am sensing Derrick Henry, and whenever that happens, the Titans win. So
If you get that
I get that
tingling,
little, yeah, it's like that little Spider-Man tingle when someone's
spidey
coming.
sense.
But
Yeah.
this time it's when Derrick Henry's going for 200. So you heard it here first. Lock in that over on his rushing yards, folks. Don't take betting
Mhm.
advice from me. I've lost money. Eagles at Commanders. I've got the Eagles over the Commanders here. And you know what? I'll say it now. That is my lock of the week. 8 weeks, 8 different locks. I have not locked the Eagles before, so I'm keeping up that trend. I was shocked to see that as well. Yeah, I haven't done it. And then we got next up
It's because
Browns.
the Eagles didn't look good for a good part of the
No, they
season
didn't.
and so far. So
Briefly,
gotta
just
pick
to
up
go
the
over
trend spot.
my prior locks. It was Ravens, Chargers, Jaguars, Chiefs, Dolphins, Bills, Seahawks, and now Eagles. So nobody has done it twice. Browns at Seahawks. I don't want to see the Browns defense be the Browns defense, and I want to see the Seahawks win. And so that's what I'm guessing is that the Seahawks are going to win. But I'm worried that the Browns defense is going to come alive, and that's not Nick Bosa, Miles Garrett,
Nope.
other great
Miles
edge
Garrett
rusher,
back again.
is gonna add Geno Smith's name to his cape. And then Ravens at Cardinals, pretty easy Ravens pick here. Wouldn't be shocked if that was your lock. Chiefs at Broncos, I got the Chiefs. I do think that they're gonna go into Mile High and beat the shit out of the Broncos.
Fresh off of their second win of the year.
Bengals at Niners. I don't know. I genuinely have no idea where this one's going. I just don't think the 49ers are going to lose twice in a row. And I think that the Bengals have
They
just
lost twice in a row last week. They
shit.
started that
I don't think
streak.
the 49ers are
Insignido
going to
3.
lose 3 times in a row is what I meant to say. I thought about that when I was picking it and then realized they had lost last week. So right now I messed up. But when I picked the 49ers earlier on, that was my thought. And I also think the Bengals have looked rusty all year. And so having a bye week that early, I don't think helps them. Because it's not like a rest and it's not a reset. It's, man, we've sucked, but we've shown flashes. Fuck, now we can't keep this train going. So I think it's a bad bye week for them. I could be wrong. They could come out super hot, but
Yeah, it kind of does with how Joe Burrow started to look more healthy in week 6. The bye week doesn't feel like it helps him get healthy, and it kind of does feel like okay, now we're resetting the momentum
yeah,
from
slowing
the
the
win over the
momentum a bit.
Seahawks.
Bears at Chargers. I've got the Chargers at home. Just in general, AFC teams against NFC teams, I like AFC teams more. And it's a Tyson Bagent-led Bears against a Justin Herbert-led Chargers, and I don't see a way Brandon Staley could fuck that up, but somehow he'll find a way.
He
always
does it every week.
And then Raiders at Lions. We just saw the Raiders lose to the Tyson Bagent-led Bears. Need I say it again? I've got the Lions at home in that one on Monday night.
Yes.
Also,
I
real
have
quick,
to wait all the way to Monday for that.
before you go, no bye weeks this week. No bye weeks in week 8. So every team is playing full slate of games. It's gonna be wonderful. And now you can say your picks.
Yeah, I wanna start off with just a recap of my last season pick or last week's. I went 6-7. 6 of those losses were when I picked the road team to win.
Home field advantage,
I
real thing.
I haven't been super heavy on picking the away teams to win, except for in week 4 where I went 12-4. So clearly, home field advantage matters for some teams sometimes. With that, Bills play the Bucks Thursday Night Football. Bills Mafia is going to show up. I don't have that as my lock. I considered that as a lock.
I did too. I was like, I can't do it.
Next up, I can't do it because I mean we just had the whole segment on quarterbacks. I'm too much of a Josh Allen hater.
Yeah.
It's in my bones. It's in my blood. Flows through me. I can't pick them to win a game.
And I couldn't do it because I picked them as the lock 2 weeks ago, so I had to spruce it up a little bit.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah.
You were hindered by the need to keep the streak.
They played the
going.
Giants, for God's sakes. Yes, I picked them as the lock that game.
Next up, I picked the Texans to beat the Panthers. Texans coming off a bye week. So are the Panthers. They both got that same amount of time to prep. I don't see this as anything more than the rookies battling it out to show who's better, and CJ's shown it through the year. I don't think he drops the ball in this one. Rams, Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys. I'm picking the Rams. I want to pick the Cowboys just to maybe be different and maybe not give us that curse like we did last week. I can't. So, Vikings, Packers. I'm picking the Vikings. Jordan Ball drops the ball.
Jordan Ball.
Jordan Ball.
Jordan
Love
Ball.
drops the love.
I'm going to
We
get a
can move
Packers
on.
jersey with the name Ball on the back of it.
Ball.
Ball.
Saints, Colts. The Colts went off with Gardner Minshew, but they also went off against a really good defense and barely squeaked it out. The Saints, I'm going to pick the Saints in Foster Moreau. We trust.
Okay.
I hope he gets that redemption arc.
The
Also,
other,
we need to break this.
Yeah, we can't be the same
We're
all the
keeping
time.
this. We're keeping it too close.
The other reason I like the Colts is because Jonathan Taylor's finally come alive, and that's a scary sight for defenses. Is they've got a really good running back who's playing really well. So
Yeah,
that's
he had the
another thing I like about
120 yards from scrimmage. He had a touchdown. He played great.
it. Scared me in fantasy a little bit.
Next up, Dolphins, Patriots. I'm picking the Dolphins. They're going to have to bounce back quick, or else people are going to start writing them off. This is a good game to do that, despite the fact that Mac led the best offense we've seen from the Patriots all year.
In recent years,
Giants. Yeah. Giants, Jets. I kind of gave it away with my doc selection, but I think the Giants. I don't think by a lot. I think it's going to be like every Jets game where it's an absolute kind of slugger of a match. And that's all I'll say on that, because I just got my fingers crossed on the Giants for that one.
I just think the Jets'
stock-wise.
defense is really good, and the Giants, I think,
Yeah.
I think the Giants, led by Danny Dimes, are a little bit better than led by Tyrod Taylor, are better than the
Yeah.
Giants led by Danny Dimes. But I also think that the Jets defense is just going to eliminate any, like, both quarterbacks would struggle against the Jets defense. Good quarterbacks have struggled against the Jets defense, and I think that'll continue with Tyrod.
Yeah. I'll leave it with the caveat of if it is Danny Dimes, I'm switching to the Jets. I don't trust that decision making. Now Jaguars, Steelers. I'm gonna pick the Jags there, just so you don't bitch at me.
Let's go. Starting a revolution, picking the Jags every week.
Titans, Falcons. I'm gonna go Titans, and I know it just sounds like a broken record, so I'm just gonna speed through all of these. Eagles, Commanders. I'm taking the Eagles. The Commanders have looked bad. Browns, Seahawks. The Browns could bounce back here, show that defense that they still be defense in. I'm gonna pick the Seahawks because of the 12. It's my deciding factor because it keeps the streak going. 8 weeks, 8 different teams. I just need to get my record better. Is what I need now. Broncos and Chiefs at Broncos.
Sorry, you cut out for the Ravens Cardinals talk. I just realized.
Oh, okay. Ravens at Cardinals. I have the Ravens taking this one. It is my lock of the week, as you predicted. The Ravens are just hitting everything perfectly right now, and come on. You
Cardinals
gotta
guys,
put a
come on.
lock on someone you're safe on, because I didn't do it last week with the Raiders shit show and I lost. So I gotta get that percentage up, and I gotta have a bona fide lock this week with the Ravens who are getting it going. Chiefs and Broncos, I'm taking the Chiefs there. It always feels like Chiefs against division rivals are super close in the first half and then they just take it away. That or it goes into overtime and they still win. So I expect them to take it away for this particular week. Bengals Niners, you mentioned, was an interesting one. Finally, we disagree again, where I'm going to take the Bengals off of that bye week where they just have that time, figure it out, versus the Niners who played Monday Night Football and had less time to prepare.
Sure.
And then rounding off, we got the Bears Chargers, taking the Chargers there at home, and the Raiders Lions. I'm taking the Lions there at home.
The only so Bengals Niners, the only other thing I think I'll give the Niners to like why I picked them is when the Bengals faced the Browns in that tough defense, they looked like shit. They looked horrible against good defenses, and I think the 49ers have a really good defense, and so I'm kind of betting on the 49ers defense playing as well as the Browns defense did against them. But again, the bye week,
That
resting Joe's
was week
calf,
one.
and yeah, any number of things
Lot
could have
can get
contributed
over.
to that. And like I said, that's the one that I think is a genuine toss up where I don't know who's going to win because both of them are kind of hit or miss teams now. Where the first 5 weeks it was like, oh, 49ers going to crush the Bengals. But now that they've stumbled a little bit, they don't have Debo. They've got a slightly snap counted Christian McCaffrey. And I don't know. I think the Bengals could pull it off, but I am still gonna bet on the Niners here.
Yeah. It's definitely a close one, but I trust in the defensive scheme that the Bengals have had where they kind of show up for big games. I think they show up here, especially with the falters we saw the Niners have.
Yeah. I think that's just about it. I think that's all we really got. I've cleared our document of video outlines, and I think that is just gonna just about do it. We're at an hour and 45 minutes of recording time. It's gonna be a hell
Yep,
of an editing thing to
a
do,
long one.
but we'll uh we'll get it done, get it up by Thursday. So thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you liked, subscribe if you want to catch up with our
Leave a
next
like if you
video.
didn't like. Just why not?
Yeah, leave a like if you hate us. Tell us
Yeah.
in the comments.
Also join the Discord and make sure you tell us face to face that you hate us.
I'm gonna
Um,
right now. I'm gonna
I will
add.
join a call right now with my face cam and everything. I will redo it and show that you hate us.
I'm gonna add a little a chat that is just called hate mail, and it's gonna be for you to send your
Nice.
hate mail
That's
to the
great.
Discord.
Yes, please.
I encourage it. In fact, I insist. Thank y'all.
I'd give in a PO box, but I'm scared of the bombs.
Bye, guys.